So, Stein, tell me, please, what is the third course that we are going to have together in Ukraine?
Oh, that's a very exciting course. It's a very interesting course, and it is also a course that has changed even the way companies have been operating. In 1984, a guy called Weinberger, he formulated some laws of programming. And his second law of programming sounds, if architects build houses the way programmers build programs, then the first woodpecker to come along would destroy our civilization. And that Weinberger's law is very relevant because most of the issues we're facing today are due to the fact that errors have been made already at the development stage of an application. So the application is not written according to the best safe, secure principles. So CSSLP course is all about getting control over that process, making sure that you start thinking about security even in the design phase, that you keep checking your security throughout the various phases, no matter what sort of development model you're using, to make sure that security is still there in the final product and that you meet the requirements of the market, which is basically that you shouldn't have any vulnerabilities in your programs that will allow other people to use your programs to take control over your systems. And the principles of secure program development are absolutely nothing new. I was at university from 1976 to 81, and in 1979 I took a course in secure programming. So we have known a lot of this stuff here from the early ages of computers. Still, we kept on doing the same mistakes over and over again. And we have been sort of just leaning back and saying, oh, time to market, time to market. We have to get something out the door. In reality, when you are pushing so hard to get things to the market and you are skipping the non-functional requirements, which are very often the case for security requirements, then yes, you're getting a product faster to the market, but you're also building technical debt. That means that your application has problems that you will have to address at a later point in time. And addressing these points can be very much more expensive than actually fixing the problems right from the ID phase, actually, into the design phase, into specification, into testing, into release cycles and everything. And this is what this course is all about. It is describing a process right from somebody gets the, wow, we are going to make a program now, right? Until you actually have it in maintenance phase with your customers. So the goal of this is actually to save money for the developers by doing things right the first time and avoid building technical debt. And we had done this course. We did it internally for a program development company in Bergen, and we finished the course on Friday. On Monday, they stopped their entire development, and they used 1 week to retrofit security into existing projects and change their methods. So they were following the recommendations given in the CSSLP course. And right now they are actually winning a lot on this because they can now prove to their customers that they do secure program development by the internationally recognized principles for that.
Mhm. So what you're saying is that with the help of the knowledge taken from CSSLP, developers can develop 100% secure programs and just keep them on maintenance phase.
Yeah, well, whether they manage 100% or not, I'm not going to say that. There will always be the element of error. There will always be the element of the unforeseen. But what they can do is they can develop a lot safer programs. And the goal of developing safer programs is, of course, to save in the later phases of the project. And this course is not telling people how to write their Java code. It is telling them how to run the project. So yeah, it goes into some of the bugs that you have. Like, for example, if you're developing to a serverless architecture, you're getting your images from somewhere, and it goes into checking the quality of those images that you are getting from another source. Because lo and behold, we have checked and we have found that a lot of these standard images are written with security problems. So that's sort of like you have this wonderful glass of crystal clear drinking water, you know, and then somebody adds something to it so it becomes brown and murkish, right? You pollute the water. It's so basically what we are trying to do here is to put the project in charge of the entire project and also cover security through all the stages of the project, so that what you're delivering is as safe as it can be and with as little technical debt as it can be.
And you said that we can foresee some technical debt already at design phase. Does it mean that this course is also suitable for designers?
Yeah.
Or you mean for design in terms of architecture?
Designers, architects, project managers, also lead programmers, because let's face it, lead programmers, they have a very strong influence in the finished product. So this is not for the individual single Java developer or .NET or whatever developer. This is for the people who are one step up from that and all the way up. It's also focused on things like making risk visible to business. So it's very much a business perspective through all of this course here.
Yes, sounds fair.
As you see, I'm pretty enthusiastic about this course here. It is a course that changes a lot for a lot of people, and security is now a very, very important aspect of most applications that are out in the market, especially since we're now putting more and more web-facing applications out there. And in putting web-facing applications out there, you know, you have 7.7 billion people who can potentially be accessing these.
Thank you. And I have one more question. You know that Ukraine is not like, we don't have GDPR yet, so that's why some Ukrainian companies and developers, they lose their opportunity to work for international banks, some projects that use personal data of people. So does this certification, can this certification be add more credibility to the developers in terms of their security wisdom, so to say?
Well, it certainly adds credibility to show that you have certified security programmers on this course here. I have been looking at the situation in Ukraine with GDPR, and by the way, GDPR is extensively covered in this course here. But we have been looking at that situation, and as far as I know, there is one main obstacle of implementing GDPR in Ukraine, and that is the way you have been using consent up until now, because you basically give consent to everything, but consent in the GDPR context means something different. But yeah, we are absolutely going to cover the legal aspects of GDPR. There are also mechanisms whereby you can actually get agreements in place. The moment you can prove you have equal protection mechanisms, you can still get EU data to Ukraine with the right agreements in place. So this is also something that's covered.
That's really interesting. All right. Is there anything else we can share with our future attendees?
Yeah, well, it is a course that requires a few things. First of all, you attend the course, you listen, you learn. Then you go back, and now you should draw a deep breath. You should sit down and you should compare your practices to what you already learned. And you should be prepared to change those practices, because the real value of this course is in the way you change the way you do your programs, in the way you run your projects, in the way you do various forms of deployment. Like if you're in doing DevOps, for example, then you really have to have full control over the process. Otherwise, you risk releasing something that's buggy and risky into production, and it can happen so quickly. So continuous integration, continuous deployment, those are buzzwords we're using today, and you really have to have control over the situation when you're developing programs.
Yeah, sounds fair. I'm actually today presenting one DevOps guide to our client in Norway. So I think when this DevOps has a certification, he has more credibility.
Yes, I think he will. Yeah.
Yeah. I will recommend him to attend this course as well.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are very welcome, and see you in Ukraine.
Yes, see you in Ukraine.